I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
Welcome, everybody, to the Four Tales podcast. I'm your host, Kyron Silva, and as you can tell, no Danny. Yeah, Danny unfortunately had an issue this morning. He's hoping to join us later on, and that'd be great. If he can't, understand, Danny, take care of your family needs. But in the meantime, thank you for anybody that is joining this live stream. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, something called Trove. There's like a bunch of other things that I signed us up for. So if you're on any of those platforms, thank you for joining us. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, because all those interactions help us reach out to other people. But definitely join us in the chat, because I think we're going to have a good show today. We have an amazing writer, an editor, and overall great person, I have to say. But before we bring that person in, I do want to say that I have to apologize for our last episode. If you notice, if you don't watch this live stream and you just listen to us on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, Spotify, and all those podcasting networks, you might have noticed that it did not launch until really late last night, and that was all my fault. Yeah, there's this little button that you have to hit on Anchor, which is our primary use of podcasting, called Submit, and I never hit the submit button. So it wasn't until I was prepping for today's show and I realized, hey, there's no episode that we did, which was a great episode with Greg last week. And I was like, uh-oh. So I had to go back in, checked it, and submitted it. And it's up and ready. So if you're listening to us, please go back, go check it out. It was a great episode with Danny, I, and Greg, where we talked about Sierra Nova Comics. And if you happen to be on Spotify, and I think it only works on the Spotify mobile app, but if you happen to be on Spotify, there is a feature now where there is a poll feature up on their app. So today's poll is, are you going to go watch the Venom 2 movie? There also is a little bit of a question and answer feature, just asking what comics you read this past week. So if you use Spotify, please hop on and go ahead, answer those questions, help us out. We just want to see if this is something that you guys might like. I know Apple iTunes is our primary use of, most of our users are from Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. But if you do happen to have Spotify, please go on, check it out, let us know what you like. Second change that you're going to actually notice going forward is I'm going to start dropping our episodes on Saturdays. Right after we do a live stream, I'm going to do a little bit of editing, and then bam, I'm just going to post it up on all the podcasting platforms, just because I figure if I'm doing a live stream, might as well just send it up right afterwards for anybody else that wants to listen. So there you go. You're going to get more episodes, or not more, but the Four Tales podcast faster than you were before. Hopefully you enjoy it. If not, hey. But there will be a new poll question and new Q&A service when this episode drops. But since I've gotten all that out of the way, and since I don't have Danny to talk to, I need to talk to somebody to make this an interesting show. I can't just talk to myself. So let's bring in our guest. She is a writer, like I mentioned, and editor. She's written multiple books, including Rain, Sarah's Journal, Inner Turmoil, Forever Endings, April's Army, and Tales from the Toy Store. She now currently has a Kickstarter going, and it's going pretty good. So we want to make sure you guys check that out. But it's called Return to the Toy Story. So we're going to assume that's the second part, but we don't assume too much on this show because I mess up when I assume things. But we are going to bring in Rowdy, Katrina Roets. Oh,
who brought her cat with her, apparently.
It only fits. You have a cat. Your name's Katrina. I mean, that only fits, right?
All right, man. Mac-
Wait. What's the cat's name?
Mackinac Mackenzie McMuffin the third.
That is way too many M's.
It is. He goes by Mac.
I hope so. All right, Mackinac McKenzie
McMuffin
McMuffin.
McMuffin the third.
I was
And
about to say McCracken.
a friend of mine calls him Mackinac Mackenzie McMuffin the third DDS because he just thinks it needs like
It's a
some
doctor.
official. That's a dentist.
Yeah.
DDS. I'm like I'm not letting the cat work on my teeth, but
Yeah.
sure.
Have you not seen Ratatouille? It might be a good cat.
I have. That's true. It could be a good thing.
You never know. But anyways, welcome to the show. I'm sorry Danny couldn't be here. Hopefully he'll join us later on, but we don't really need him anyways. So for right now, tell us about yourself, what you do, how you do it, things like that.
All right. Well, I'm Katrina Roets. I run Cat Scratch Press, which is just basically publishes my books.
I know all about that. With Taurus Comics only publishing my books, so.
And also the editing. We have an editing wing, which I'm do. It's me.
Okay.
So Cat Scratch Press is basically me.
Nice. Okay.
But I have to say, I heard your questions. No, I'm not going to go see Venom. And what did I read this week? Look.
I can't see that. Let's enhance your
a little bigger.
Yeah. See. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I read one while I was in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And read 2 this last week and cleaned my living room and found 3 yesterday. So
wow.
I can find. Yeah, they weren't read bam, 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 but I'm getting a good once a week reading in.
All right, so we didn't talk about this in the pre-show thing. So what were you doing in Canada?
I actually went to Canada for my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. My best friend lives in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Okay, no idea where that is, but okay.
It is just outside Niagara Falls.
Oh, okay.
So I went over there for 4 days and spent some time with him and some time writing.
Now you seem to do a lot of traveling. At least to me, it seems like you do a lot.
I usually once or twice a year, if I can. This is the first time I've gone anywhere in probably almost 2 years, though.
Okay. Understandable. I mean,
and it was. I warn people, if you're going, there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
I'm pretty sure it's worse now.
It's not. Used to be, you kind of would just drive up to the border, like show them your passport. Or with me, because I'm in Michigan, we have the expanded license. Hand it to them, answer a few questions, and you're on your way. Now you have to have a negative COVID test within 72 hours of travel. There's an app you have to fill out, which includes taking pictures of your vaccine cards.
Wow.
You have to assure them in the app that if you do have to quarantine in Canada for some reason, you have a place to do that. Here's the address of where you can do that. And you can't fill out any of the app except for 72 hours before travel. So you can't pre-fill anything out. You have to wait until right before you go and then fill everything out and then show all that at the border. And
wow. And I get it. It is for our safety, and we definitely want to make sure everybody's staying as safe as possible while still enjoying the things we want to enjoy. So I totally get that. But let's not talk too much, I guess, about the negatives. Let's talk about you.
It was fun. I had a great time.
Okay.
Was a little worried they weren't going to let me back in the country.
What did you do to not get back in the country?
Not even anything. I pulled up to the entry point. Handed him my license so they could scan it. He said, "Where were you at?" I told him. And then I sat there. It was like total silence for like 2 or 3 minutes. And I was, it's that kind of awkward, like, please let me in.
Were they running your information or?
Well, I mean, he scans my license, but I thought there's nothing on there that should red flag that would not allow me to go home. That I know about anyway. Somebody's pretending to be me, and having more fun than me. At least give me a heads up.
She's got like 3 pages worth of warrants here. Should I arrest her? One of those is for aggravated assault and violence and
against a border guard. No.
Yeah.
No. It was just the most awkward thing, and I'm you can see kind of, because the booths are all windows. So you can see it, and I'm trying to see like his screen to see if there's something on the screen. I'm like, and he finally just goes, "Okay, you can go." I'm like,
wow.
What was all that about? Like, why am I sitting here so long?
Maybe it was
I
just a
think,
delay in their system.
well, I think he was just bored, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, there's not a lot of people going back and forth across the border right now. I mean, usually I've come across and I've been in lines of like 10 or 12 cars. This
So
time
what?
there were 2 cars ahead of me. So I
So
think
what
he
you're
was just
saying?
bored.
You found the one lonely
Border
patrol
guard.
guard, and he was basically checking you out. And he was trying to think of the nerves to figure out how to hit on you without being unprofessional
Without
because
being
of
unprofessional, and finally just gave up and went, "Yeah,
yeah
you can go.
yeah. I He's like, I don't have the courage. Just
Nah,
go.
just go."
But at least now you have another story that you can maybe write into the third volume of the Toy Story
Yeah, yeah.
series
But
somehow.
one of them goes across into Canada and isn't sure they're going to be allowed back in.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about the Toy Story series. How did that come
Sure.
about? Toy Story.
Uh,
I always said Toy
you
Story,
know
but
what? I actually have accidentally called it Toy Story myself, and I'm like,
uh,
"Don't do that. I do not need Disney coming after me."
yeah. Well, and I'm looking at the Kickstarter page right now, which
Mhm.
you're on your eighth day, and you have
Yeah.
22 more pages. There are 22 more days to go,
Yep.
and you're doing pretty good. And I'm looking at it, really, literally, just looking at Toy Store, and for some reason,
And
Toy
still
Story
saying
pops out.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
I actually, on my laptop, when I was writing the first book, actually accidentally titled the folder Tales from the Toy Story.
Oh,
And then had to go
that
in
would have
and
been.
change the, I mean, just as a folder name. It wasn't like the title or anything of the book, but I went, "Ugh."
Yeah, but if you somehow throw in like folder information into a,
W-
I don't know, extended cut at director's thing, that would have
right.
been bad.
Right. Disney's like, "Excuse me, what are you
Yeah.
calling your book?"
Oh yeah. Disney will send
Nothing.
that cease and desist
Nothing.
really quick.
Oh yeah, they're on that. They don't
Mhm.
play.
Okay,
But I started with the first book is Tales from the Toy Store, and
mhm.
that's been out over a year now. Um, I don't even remember my own release dates, but I will
It's
say
just been out.
I did come through my front door at 2 a.m. So I'm a little bit not 100% there yet. I'm not a coffee
Because you were
drinker, and
traveling.
I as I was traveling, my youngest son is a jazz studies major at Michigan State, and they
Wow.
had a concert last night. And then following the concert, everybody wanted pizza, so we went back to his apartment and ordered pizza that didn't show up until like 12:30.
Oh, good God.
So we had to eat the pizza
Fair enough.
and then drive 40 minutes home afterwards. So it was about my oldest and I walked through the door at like 2 a.m. and I was like, man, I actually have to set an alarm for a Saturday. Otherwise, you're not going to see me at 10 a.m.
But, I know that feeling so much. Every other Saturday, I'm up at 6 o'clock, and I don't want to be. And it's
Yeah,
getting worse now because it's becoming fall, so it's darker in the morning. Like
right.
I used to be able to
Yeah,
actually see sunlight at this time of day, and now it's just barely creeping up right now.
yeah. Your body's just like, you're supposed to be sleeping. What are you doing?
It might be, but honestly, I wake up at 5:30 on weekdays anyways,
Okay.
so it's sort of used to it. The
Yeah.
sucky thing is Sundays when I have to wake up at 6 o'clock for no reason. My body's just like, "Hey, wake up." Good
Yes.
thing is that there is football, at least
There.
pregame stuff on, so I'm
Yes.
able to sit down, go downstairs, and enjoy that while my wife sleeps. So that's good.
Yeah. That's good. Um, you can tell this is gonna be a day of veering off, guys. Eventually, we'll get to back to the question about the book.
I haven't,
But no, okay, so originally started, I guess you could say originally started with my kids
mhm.
back when they were young. Um, I'm always a big fan of reading to your kids at bedtime, encouraging imagination. And with my kids though, they got to the point where they didn't want me to read the books. They wanted me to tell them stories and
Okay.
stories about their toys.
Oh.
So I've got 2 boys. They would each pick a toy, and I'd make up some wild and crazy adventure that they went on. Unfortunately, I never wrote any of these down. I
Okay.
you live in the moment,
Yeah. Oh,
and you don't think after the moment's over, I should jot that down.
yeah,
And, we
and you're
fast
trying to spend time with your kid at that point too.
right.
You're
I
not
mean,
really
it
focused on
wasn't a
those.
well, and at that point, I wasn't thinking I was gonna turn into a writer of kids' stories.
Mhm.
I was mom, that was my job.
Exactly.
And, fast forward, my kids are now 20 and 21.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congrats.
my kids are I got them both to adulthood,
I know.
and they're not absolute jerks, so
Oh,
I figure I did okay.
Can you tell me some secrets? Because I have an 18-year-old and he's a jerk sometimes.
Well, I will say both of mine can be jerks, but once got to about high school, I said to them, I said, we've got two rules in this house, and just two rules.
Okay,
Number one is don't be a dick,
that's a good
and
rule.
number two is make good choices. I figure those cover pretty much any scenario I could come up with,
hmm
and I will actually even now turn and look at. They start going off. I'll just look at them and go, rule number one, guys. That's all I gotta say to you. Rule number one. And you may be adults now, but I'm still not putting up with nonsense.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's good parenting there. You just got to tell them that they're doing wrong, and they know, okay, you're right, mom. I screwed up.
kind of attitude check.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good. That
Okay.
means you're
Yep.
doing it right.
I'm being, and I've had them come to me go, I'm sorry for being a dick, you know.
Fair enough.
And I have had parents be horrified that's how I word that rule, and I'm like, why? They understand it.
Yeah, they're adults now. They know.
I look. I'm not using a worse word I could use.
You
You
know.
know. You know.
So when you came out with Toy Store, were
hmm
they? I mean, I'm pretty sure they were happy for you, but were they surprised that it was sort of based off of your interactions with them in a way?
I don't think so. My youngest, especially when he hit his senior year in high school, I'd been very involved as a parent, in
Mm,
all of their activities, sports, music. With my youngest, I counted the other day, throughout the course of his senior year, he was in 7 different bands.
wow,
That's a lot of concerts.
that
That's
is.
that's a lot of driving. One of his was a audition only jazz band that he was part of, but it was an hour and a half away from my house. And
See, this is
I
what I
drove
mean. You're
and I
constantly traveling somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, and I was driving him every week to rehearsals,
Mm.
and then they would have concerts around the state. So yeah, my travel is a lot local lately, or over the last few years. Somebody's like, "You're always doing something."
Yeah.
Somebody said somebody told me at one point before I started editing, all the time and that kind of stuff. So because you are the busiest unemployed person I've ever seen. I said, I'm employed. I'm employed by my children.
Yeah. Seriously.
Have you noticed? And
Yeah.
it actually says, if you go to my Facebook, it actually says under employment, like mom of Ben and Roger.
No, I mean
Because
seriously,
that's
people
what I
don't
was doing
realize
for a
how
long
much.
time.
Yeah, people don't realize how much
Yeah.
work that parents, especially stay-at-home parents,
hmm
are are constantly on the go.
Yeah.
Like,
But my youngest, when we hit high school, we got towards his, end of his senior year. And he says to me, he goes, Mom, you have to find a life of your own now.
mm,
You have to do something that's yours. because
mm,
because we're not going to be running every week to 10 things, so you need to find something that's yours.
yeah.
And so I don't think they were horribly surprised.
Okay.
And we kind of talked a little bit about it around the house. This is what I'm writing, and I mean they're typical early 20s kids. They're not super interested in what mom's doing. It's like, you always get the question, do your kids read your stuff? No.
No, not at
No.
this age. No. The
They
first
might.
comic I ever created, my oldest read because he was like, "Oh my god, this is my dad's name," and then
Mhm.
I put him as the editor in chief
Okay.
on the book, so he was ecstatic about that. But at this point, none of my kids really read my stuff, so and
Yeah.
that's fine.
I
Yeah,
figure, because these are kids' books and they're perfect for like bedtime reading and that kind of thing. Maybe they'll read them to, like, to their kids once they get older.
nice.
I'm not in a hurry to be a grandparent. I'm
Me
not.
either.
I'm not, and my kids know that. I've made that very clear to them, that if you don't finish school, you know. I
Yeah.
said the thing is, like, I married their dad when I was 19.
Mm,
So
okay.
I think I missed out on some stuff
Sure.
because I was busy being a wife, and then I had my kids in my early 20s,
Okay.
and so I just, guys, enjoy college, enjoy the experience, you know. Getting married and stuff is great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Having kids is great, but wait, there's not a huge rush.
All right. Well, okay. Hold on one second.
All right.
Danny decided he's going to finally join us. So let's bring
Danny's
him
going to join us.
on.
All right.
Yeah. What's going on, Danny?
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
y'all? How you doing?
hey, Danny.
All right. So for everybody who wants to know, this is Danny J. Quick. He decided he's able to finally join us. He
I made it.
is. I got to do this because I've been doing this now every week. I have my intro for you. Across the way is the Mauve Prime Mover of Fourth Wall Productions, Danny J. Quick. Dude, I'm
How
gonna.
many different ways can you say purple? How many different ways can you just say the
Oh,
purple dude?
there are a
There's the guy
ton
in
of
purple.
ways.
He's got a thesaurus. He just goes down and looks.
I do actually.
This week is.
I really do. Every week I just think of all right synonyms for purple thesaurus.
Have you done plum yet?
Yes, that was last week.
Yeah, we did plum last.
We've
Did
done plum.
plum last week.
Trust me, I've done it. But
So
thanks for joining us,
now I'm gonna be pondering purple colors.
It's actually really weird how many different types of purple.
Have you gone
Like
to like Crayola.com and just looked
Oh,
the range of purple?
all
That's a
right. So I
good
know what to
idea.
do next time. But no, Jenny, thanks for joining us. Kat's been talking about her book Toy Story or Return
Oh
to
no,
Toy
you're
Story.
gonna
Turn
they're
to
gonna
Toy
they're
Story.
gonna cease and desist you, not me.
I know. Disney, don't come at me. It's only one letter. It's throwing me off. And Toy Story is such a good movie.
Such a good movie it is.
I'm thinking that the book's just as good as this movie, and
I would that would be a pretty big compliment to say your books rank as high as Toy Story.
Hey, someday it will be making money like Toy Story does, I'm sure.
That'd be awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be pretty sweet.
Well, I guess what is Toy Story completely about? Like I could see just at the cover, and I've read some things about it too. But in your own words, what do you say that Toy Story is about?
Tales from the Toy Store and Return to the Toy Store are both standalone books, but they have some characters that obviously that cross over. But hey, if you can get one, why not get two?
That's what I always say.
Why not get them both? But each book is 20 plus short stories, perfect for bedtime reading or your kids elementary school age reading. All about toys and kind of what they do. Think Toy Story. The toys have their own lives, and
Okay.
in the book, the toys all have their own lives, their own personalities, the things that they like and don't like, and what.
Mhm.
And some of them have jobs in the toy store. We have a sock monkey. It's a librarian. We have the planning bear, who is basically kind of in charge overall.
Okay.
Horace the tiger is kind of like the welcoming committee and friend to everybody. So they all have their own personalities and things that they get up to.
Now, one of the things I noticed, at least going through my research, is that you've written a wide range of books.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, this is a children's story, and then you've also done more like a horrific and adult themes things. Why is, how do I phrase it? What is the reason that you go from such extremes as far as genre? Like, is there anything that you?
Well, I think when I first kind of started writing for fun, so to speak, I was writing more adult things. When it came to like the young adults, horror, kind of urban fantasy, urban horror, it was a project that I was brought in on by somebody who said you can write better than you believe you can write. So I'm going to like kind of prove it to you that you can do it. And here's the challenge.
Okay.
That one actually, my youngest son was doing a science research trip to the Caribbean, and we were looking for ways to fundraise. And I asked this person if they would design a T-shirt for me because they have a history and graphic design. And he said, "I will if you'll do these books." Wasn't exactly a fair trade. I mean, a T-shirt design that probably took him 20 minutes versus, a few years of my life.
Writers, value yourself is what we're trying to
Yes,
say.
please, But it was a good challenge for me. I remember sitting down that first time with the first book. It was already written. He wanted me to do the editing and then, add anything I felt needed adding or, move it around. And I remember sitting down the first book going, oh my God, I'm going to mess this up so bad. Like, I just know I'm not ready for this. And turns out I was. He knew better than I did on this one. Because he always, like we all say, your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
A lot of times what's holding you back is you. And
Yeah.
that was the case for me. I was the one holding myself back.
I feel
And
that even
then
as an
and
artist,
then
I know that a lot of artists struggle with that. And then also on the writing side, I know most writers feel that way too. So definitely know that you
Mhm.
are better than what you probably think you are.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you're great, but you're better than what you think you are, and you can always improve.
And I think I actually with the new book I've only had one person that's actually read everything in it that I've written so far. And he's actually said I think this is better than the first one.
Nice.
And I
Oh
said
wow.
good because I want to be, improving each time I write a new book. I want it to be better than the last book.
Y'all always want to grow. Always want to grow.
Mhm.
I noticed the same thing Kyron was talking about it, but even within the same I think the one that you did, what was it? The teddy bear, a teddy bear tale.
Okay, yeah, I was editor on that series.
Oh, so you edited that one. Okay.
I did the
That's
editing on that one. Yep.
I remember seeing a couple of images on that one, and one was like a soft, oh, okay, I love this teddy bear, and then the cover of it was a smoke demon monster with
Yeah, yeah, that's Awakenings, which is
okay, yeah,
just finally got wrapped up and sent and is back from print, I believe. So that should
nice,
be going out to Kickstarter backers who backed that. And that's Veronica Smith is the artist on that one,
yeah, I
and
know.
she's an incredibly talented artist,
Veronica's
and re-
coloring my books now, so yeah,
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 I'm very familiar with Veronica.
yeah. Ronnie did all of the art for that series, and she's a great fit for it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, how did you actually get into editing since Danny brought up your editing?
Um, Accidentally.
Okay.
You'll find in my life I trip into things and then I'm doing them.
As long as you get back
Um,
up, that's all that matters.
about gosh, it's been 8 to 10 years ago. I attended C2E2 in Chicago. It's a big comic convention, and was going as a reviewer. So I had a press badge, and I just started kind of reviewing comics. And again, I walked in going, nobody's going to hand me their book. I've got no reputation for this. I very much underestimated the indie comic community at that point because I walked away with this huge stack. Thank God I drove because if I'd had to fly that stuff back, it would have been really expensive. Um, but one of the people I met there was a gentleman named Jared Bagora who had wrote a novel. And so he said, I know you're doing comics, but would you review a novel? And I said, well, I did book reviews prior to this. So sure, it's right in my wheelhouse. And I did, and I left it, did a review on it, and we kind of became Facebook friends. And a little while later, he posted on Facebook that he was looking for an editor for his next book because he had done the first one without one. And through my review and a couple other reviews, realized he needed somebody to go over the book with him. And I was like, yeah, I could probably do that. I've never really done it before, but I could probably do that. Um, I'm pretty good with, grammar and things like that. And he said, what I'm doing is anybody who's interested, I'm sending out the first chapter, go through it, you know, um, and then, leave your comments, corrections, whatever. And I'll go through all of them after I get them back and hire who I think did the best job. And he got back to me about a week later and said, you're in if you want it. He said,
Nice.
you found things that the professional editors that I had look at it didn't find.
Very nice.
And I said, okay. And I just kind of started with his books and branched out from there.
Okay.
And
Love it.
then really kind of took off hard once I started working with Russell Nolte.
Now,
As things do.
at this point, do you prefer writing or editing?
I edit more, but it
Wait,
pays the
but
bill. It pays the bills. I love both of them. I really
okay.
do. I really do love editing. People think that's weird because they hate editing. I always hear the worst part of doing your own, doing your books is the editing process. And I'm like, no, I love but I love editing other people's books. When I have to go back and proofread and go over my own stuff, I'm like, oh, like,
I agree with you on that. Yeah,
I look at it and I go, oh my God, this sucks. I'm the worst writer ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how did this get through when I wrote it? But when I write, I write fast.
Okay.
And so sometimes, a word will get missed or just I'll forget a comma. because I'm just putting it down on paper. Well,
Sure.
on the screen. You know, I take notes on paper still. I have a notebook that I write everything in. I have a list of all the stories for the new book in it that I check mark as I write each one off. But I love both, but I do edit a lot more than I do writing, just time wise. But the bonus is because I write short stories. Um, the books don't take as long to produce for me as if I were trying to write a novel. I've decided after my first attempt at a novel that I'm not quite there yet. I'm better in the short story realm.
Okay. Well, I think this
Take
might be a
Just
good
take a
time
bunch
for
of those
us.
short stories and put them together into one novel. That's how people are doing it these days.
That is true. People are writing like a chapter or two and then putting it out
Mhm.
there and then writing the next couple of chapters, with like
Yep.
Wattpad and Smashwords and various places like that.
Yep.
Or even I believe Amazon has a new thing for that too, where you're doing a
Mhm.
similar kind of thing.
I know Amazon just bought out, I think, Comixology.
They've owned Comixology for quite a while.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I
Yeah.
guess they're
But they're
integrating it more.
they're integrating it into the Amazon KDP system,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I'm hearing people aren't thrilled with. But I've never tried to put a comic on KDP, so I don't know how complicated that is.
It's complicated as hell.
It's very complicated, but
Especially if you're trying to put a physical book on there. It's like
Yeah.
near impossible. Digital is a little bit even worse, but
Okay. I mean, my books, the first two books that I wrote are on Amazon, and I did all that. And Amazon KDP is fairly straightforward for books,
yeah.
Mhm.
But comics as a whole, it's a whole other ball game.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is going to be our best break here for us to maybe switch gears and do Danny's quick take since Danny's actually here.
Ooh.
So if you haven't actually listened to the podcast before, Danny's quick takes is a sort of rapid fire situation where Danny's going to ask you 5 questions. Each
Okay.
question is you're going to have 45 seconds to answer.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to put a clock on.
Oh, look at that. There's a timer and everything. Okay.
Yes.
No pressure.
No pressure at
Okay.
all.
Deep breath.
If after the 45 seconds you haven't answered it, you can't continue, and you're going to see Danny's gigantic head pop up on the screen.
You're kicked out.
Yeah. You're no longer part of the podcast at that point.
Boot you to the back room. Sorry, guys.
All right. But Danny, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Whew. All right. So
See, he's waking up still.
Yeah, we're all like,
here are my quick takes. So I'm gonna start you off with an easy one.
okay.
This is a question. This is just a question, a general question, just to see what kind of person you are. Okay.
Oh.
So question number 1. What's the best season of the year and why?
I am a big fan of fall. I mean, not only is it my birthday month, September is my birthday month, but I less allergies, better weather,
Less allergies.
less allergies. I mean, I get nailed like in spring and summer. But yeah, I like the weather. The weather's a lot better here in Michigan. It's not boiling hot and humid, and it's not freezing cold, and I'm shoveling snow. Good Halloween movies. I do a 31 Days of Halloween movies every year.
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun for that. Now I'm just trying to fill the 8 seconds.
You don't have to.
I'm like, okay, there's 8 seconds left. What can I say?
Now I'm interested in what would be your favorite? What's your favorite Halloween movie? Is it horror movies that you like or Halloween themed movies?
I am a Halloween themed movie person.
Okay.
I actually have my list up on Facebook right now. It's on Instagram, and there's nothing. The scariest movie on there is probably like Coraline or what's the other one with the house that comes to life? It's really scary.
Monster House.
Monster House. Yes.
Yeah. Because there's
scary for me.
There's definitely
it's kind of scary.
We did our top 5 horror movies, and I found out quickly there's a huge difference between horror movies and Halloween movies. That's two completely different lists.
I'm publicly has confessed numerous times I'm the world's biggest chicken. I don't like to be scared. I don't even like things that are super suspenseful. I mean, and I'm talking like Doctor Who level suspenseful sometimes.
Mm.
I've watched certain episodes where they've been more suspenseful, where I've actually paused, walked away, and had to come back like 5 minutes later because I need to know what happens. But I don't like the feeling of like the stress of the suspense of it. Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
I frequently tell people that inside I'm really 5. I,
I
I'm a
like it.
5-year-old in a grown-up's body. I don't like to be scared.
I feel you. Okay, so let's do question number 2.
All right.
So this one will be, I think this one will be easy. I think I'll know your answer, but
Okay.
we're gonna ask it anyway. Number 2. All right, one of these animals inhabits the earth, the other disappears forever. Which do you keep?
Oh.
Cats or penguins?
Oh man. Everybody knows I'm the cat lady, so that's, but penguins are cute. I've got penguins in my book. In fact, I have more penguins in my book than cats.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm gonna go with cat stay, but man, that's a cold one.
That's an
Like,
easy one.
that's mean. Like I'm like, I don't want to be like the responsible for the death of the penguins. Like, who wants that responsibility on their head?
So basically,
yeah.
you hate penguins, is what you're saying.
Right.
Basically,
Basically, I hate penguins. They're all horrible creatures. I know. Yeah, that's gonna be the new headline. Katrina hates penguins.
Katrina hates penguins. That's the title of the
That's
episode.
gonna be the new title of the episode. Yeah, Katrina hates penguins. News at 11.
I'm writing that down right now.
All right.
I did have somebody who titled their podcast that I did last week. Is it Back to the Toy Store or Return to the Toy Store?
Oh.
Because the book was actually titled originally Back to the Toy Store.
Mhm.
And then Eric Cockrell, who's my cover artist,
Mhm.
titled it Return to the Toy Store.
Oh.
The cover says
no.
Return
He
to.
said, we're changing it. I'm changing it.
We're just changing it. So if you go to the actual link on Kickstarter, it'll say Back to the Toy Store. But then I had to go through and change all the entire Kickstarter text.
So wait, you can just have him just change it to back?
The thing is, I probably could have, and he actually said that to me later. He goes, I could have changed that, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
look, I don't know how. I am so graphically challenged. I have no graphic skill. I'm like, I don't know if that's a 2-minute change or a 10-minute hour change. Like, I don't know how long that. And he goes, yeah, that would have been like a 30-second change.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean, I could do that for you right now with just the images you probably have.
Well, I think we're too late now. We're like
Okay.
7 or 8 days into the Kickstarter now. But yeah, but now we joke that Eric just named the next book.
Okay.
And at least Back to the Toy Store for a future book, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I like it. I like that. All right. So question number 3. I know that you're a big fan of indie comics. You support indie comics, and I always see you posting and buying indie comics in my research.
I'm interested in this question very much so right now. Just
What was the last indie comic you read?
You have to live in one indie comic universe for the rest of your life.
Ooh,
which one do you choose and why?
Holy crow. That's a tough one.
Better say the right answer.
No. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a weird limb here. And go with the Floppy Cop universe.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Floppy Cop with Dan Doherty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun book. And who doesn't want, a good police force backing you, right? And they have fun bad guys, So I'll go with Floppy Cop.
Okay.
We had Dan on the show, right? It was Dan that came from
Not from Floppy Cop.
Are
you talking about Dan Bethel?
No, Dan Doherty.
No, we haven't had Dan Doherty. We haven't had him on yet.
I don't know. I bought his books. I don't know if maybe he was on Chat and Draw. That's right.
Yeah.
He was on Chat and Draw. So
see, this is the problem. You're on way too many podcasts, Danny. Like I think you probably have like 2 other after right now. So
I do have 2 other podcasts a day, but
I've got. I can't say I got 1 more tonight. So
yeah. So I ended up buying all the Floppy Cop books, and that's a good one. That's a good pick right there.
It's a fun one. I actually bought. I think Dan figured out that I actually own the very first trade for the first run.
Nice.
I happen to be at a show in Lansing, Michigan, that Source Point Press had a table at,
Mhm.
and they had them, and I was like, "Yep, picking that one up."
Mhm.
And I posted to Facebook, and Dan's like, "I don't even have a copy of that yet."
Wow.
I'm like, "Well, you should talk to your publisher about that."
Yeah, seriously.
I
That's
It's
a
can't.
always
fail right
good to
there.
get something before the creator. I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. And then I backed the Kickstarter for the second trade.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so question number 4, and this is
Mhm.
Kyron's question. He asked me.
Uh-oh.
He asked me last. What was it? Last week,
Yeah.
and I still don't have an answer
Oh,
for it. So I'm
oh
gonna
no,
ask
I
you.
think I saw this one posted, and I didn't have an answer either.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
I
well,
only asked the best
this
questions.
is gonna be 45 seconds of awkwardness, but okay, let's go.
You have unlimited money and can choose any one comic to add to your collection. Which comic do you choose and why?
Yeah, see, 45 seconds of awkwardness. I mean, I thought this. I went round in my head like, what would you choose? Okay, I don't even know if this exists. It may not even be a thing. But there's I would actually see if there was a trade of like the Scooby-Doo comics or like an omnibus or something like that. I don't think one exists, but if I have unlimited money, I'll make it exist.
Yeah,
I'll pay them to make it for me.
they should. I know Scooby had a couple of comic series.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
I don't think they have an omnibus, but they could
should.
collect all of those stories into one. That would be good. That's a good pick right
Yep.
there.
Yeah, I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan.
Nice.
Who's your favorite
Okay.
Scooby-Doo character?
Being kind of the nerdy geek girl kind of thing. I'm always a big fan of Velma.
Yes. Best choice.
Velma's gaining a lot of popularity on TikTok right now. And
Is she?
That's
Okay.
'cause
Yeah.
she's cute. That's why.
She's cute.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So last but not least, here's
Okay.
the last question. You get one wish to have superpowers. Which
Ooh.
one do you wish for? And do you become a hero or a villain?
Well, I've said that if I turn 50 and I'm not remarried and still kind of living the swinging singles life, that I'm going to start a supervillains group at 50. And somebody's like, you'd be a terrible supervillain. You just would be so bad at it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of the fun of it, right? But as far as what superpower I would go with, probably like healing powers.
Okay.
I mean, if anybody ever played like EverQuest 2 with me, I have like 10 healers. That's it. all my characters are healers. I have every class imaginable. And you can use that for good or bad.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be like the anti-hero. I don't even like.
So are you
depends
healing
on-
yourself or are you healing other people?
Well, it depends on the day and how cranky I am, right? Like if I didn't get enough sleep, well, it's going to be all about me that day.
That's right. That's right.
If it's, I mean, short of there's limitations like my kids and, the obvious, okay, they get, free medical treatment, but everybody else, well, I don't know. Did you back the Kickstarter?
Wow.
Okay, I'm in the clear. I'm good then. I can come get some help.
Danny's clear. Danny's like, I'm good.
I'm screwed. Sorry.
Kyron's like, shoot. Well,
God, thank God for medical insurance.
That's a good villain. A good villain right there. I can heal you, but
what are you
did you
do
back
for
the
me?
Kickstarter?
What did you do for me? Did you, Remember, Kyron, even $1 helps. That's been my thing the last few days, guys. Like the dollar train. Yeah, even $1 helps. It not only boosts the numbers, but it boosts the signal.
That's true. That is true.
Every time.
That is very true.
If you got people who follow you on Kickstarter, they don't know how much you pledged for.
That's
they
true.
just know that you pledged for this campaign.
That's true.
Which may get them to look.
That is very true. Very true. Very true.
I've said, this week, a share's worth its weight in gold. The more eyes, the better the odds.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was Danny's quick takes.
And I survived.
Yes, brought to you by Scooby-Doo and the Death to All Penguins.
And Death to All Penguins.
Oh Oh man. All right. Well, I was thinking about this and I didn't realize this until I just looked back at all of our episodes.
Hmm.
Kat, you are the first female creator we've had on our show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
And I
wow.
realized I was wearing pants for a reason, and that's why. 'Cause it's too early in the
Nice.
morning to be clothed.
Nice.
No.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I've got my pajama bottoms on.
Nice.
I figure they're seeing me from here up. Put on the Spartans t-shirt and
That's the good thing about teleworking now and being able to have meetings on Zoom and on Restream. You don't really have to get dressed up if you don't want to. So
no. And
this is a
I work
comfortable-
I work as a freelance editor, so I work from home.
Mhm.
And I joke. I'm like, I said something the other day. I'm like, oh, I got to go put real clothes on. So he goes, what?
Yeah.
Somebody goes, what do you mean real clothes? I'm like, yeah, like not my pajama bottoms, not
Yeah.
my sweatpants, not my raggedy shorts that I only wear around the house. Like I got to go put on a pair of jeans or something that my grandmother would not be horrified if I went out in public wearing.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things I noticed when doing research about you is that you also have your own personal website, Life with Katie.
Yep.
And you mentioned on their website about all the things, all the projects you're working on.
Mhm.
But one of the things that really caught my eye, and I've noticed it for a while, I shouldn't lie, but it's Crockpot Mondays.
Crockpot Monday. Yeah, I need to get back on the ball with Crockpot Monday.
All right. Now, explain to our viewers and our listeners what exactly is Crockpot Monday. I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory, but give us some
Crockpot Monday
information on
is I have a recipe list on Facebook, or not on Facebook, on the website. It could be on Facebook too. I don't know. You never know with people. They might just have put it out there. It's on my website. Every Monday I post a new crockpot recipe, and there's a recipe section on the site, so you can go and see all the past recipes listed and all the future ones because I typed up that whole list all at once. I could tell people if you can't click on it, it's just because I haven't posted it yet. It will be there, but it's broken down into some of our freezer meals, so you can prep everything in advance, throw it in the freezer. Then when you want it, you pull it out, thaw it, and dump it in your crock pot. And then other than that, they're broken down to like beef, chicken, pork, desserts, drinks.
The desserts is the one that got my interest more than anything.
You do desserts in a crock pot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you have the right, you can do cheesecakes and crock pots, all sorts of stuff.
Oh wow.
That's why I'm fat. I know all about desserts.
I know all about the dessert section of the menu.
I've been wasting my life apparently because I only do like we only do like 2 things in a crock pot and that's it.
Yeah, there's you can do soups and stews and we do like pulled pork tacos, all sorts of stuff. I mean, basically with the pulled pork taco, all you're doing is throwing your pork roast into the crock pot, letting it cook all day until it gets shreddable, and then you use that to make tacos with. We've done all sorts of stuff.
So now I'm hungry because it's
Now I'm
breakfast
hungry
time.
Yeah, I had a muffin this morning, so I'm okay at the moment.
I had some tea in my amazing Full Metal Alchemist mug.
Look, I won't tell you what I had with. Look, so
I had some Hennessy with that muffin.
No. So look, it's a 2-liter Fanta.
Oh snap!
Ooh,
that's the good stuff right there.
Fanta orange is delicious.
We went. Well, I was telling Karen earlier. I was at my son's apartment last night, and we ordered pizza, and we all ordered drinks to go with it. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Spreckers. It's a soda company out of Wisconsin.
Oh wait, no, I think I've heard that. I have heard that.
But they have the best orange cream soda. And so my son and I, we both ordered that, and they called us and said they were out. So did we want to substitute something for it? And he said, they said, well, we've got 2 liters of orange soda. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Just do that. Well, they brought, I don't know how much these glass bottles of Spreckers were, but they brought us, in exchange for 2 of those, they brought us 3 2-liters of orange soda.
Jeez, wow.
So of course, being a 20-year-old guy with his first apartment, they had no clean glasses. So I had to act like a hobo and drink it directly out of the 2-liter.
Then you're not dirtying up any glasses and plates or anything.
He ran the dishwasher while I was there. He's like, I meant to start this earlier before the concert and forgot. So
that was just to make you feel better.
Yeah, it is. But dishwashers, take a while, so they're still. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, we don't have any clean plates either. They're all in the dishwasher." Like, dude, you are such a typical 20-year-old guy.
That's the life right there.
Yeah.
That's the life.
He's having a ball. It's his first apartment, and him and his roommate get along great. So,
Mhm.
No,
but I don't. But it taught me that I've never been cut out for apartment living, and B, not in a college town. Everything. It was like 12:30 at night, and like you could hear the upstairs neighbors yelling and talking, and I was like, dude, no, dude, can't do it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
the
be that
same way.
neighbor with the broom.
Ever since we got our first house, I cannot imagine going back to an apartment.
Mm-mm.
And even though I have to go out here and cut this grass every
Yeah.
so often, I think it's a good trade off.
no,
Yeah,
that's why
well,
you
you
have
know,
kids. You get them to cut the grass.
well, that's just it. Is I've got pretty bad grass, like grass seed, and I don't know because grass have pollen, whatever allergies,
Mhm.
and so I can't really mow because I get really sick.
Mhm.
And so once my kids grow up and they're now out, I pay a guy $50 a month to come and mow my lawn. Like,
I love it.
but he comes in, he does all the mowing. They do all the mowing, all the trimming, and I take one project check
Mhm.
once we hit spring and just pay him for like the entire summer and fall. I'm
See,
like, here you
that's good.
go. I don't have to worry about it. They come in, they
I
do
love it.
it, and I said I feel like I'm, you hit the big time when you can afford to pay a lawn guy. Of course, I have like the cheapest lawn guy in the history of lawn guys, but
Hey, long as he come in and get the job done, that's
Yeah.
all you really care about.
it gets done. It looks decent, and it shames my neighbors on either side into mowing, and it's good to be that person. See, I have supervillain traits. I don't know what people are talking about. I can do it. I could do it.
Your supervillain power is being the first one to cut the grass.
That's right. They're little.
As she sits out on the
They're fine.
porch, going like this, their fingers just.
Yeah,
with the 2 liter of Fanta.
with a 2-liter of orange Fanta. That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, so you and I were talking about this before Danny came on. Is that you're gonna be watching football for the rest of the weekend?
Well, my oldest is going to be watching football for the rest of the weekend. I'm going to be.
Okay.
I'll be watching a lot of football. But Russell Nolte also has a kind of a killing it on Kickstarter thing that runs this afternoon.
Okay.
That of course he puts his book out a week after I go live on Kickstarter. I'm like, I could have used all these tips prior. I think it's intentional. Or he could have at least, as his official proofreader, they could have brought it to me so I could have read it in advance. But no,
Yeah, come on, Russ. You gotta do better.
no perks here. But he's doing a seminar this afternoon, so I'm gonna try to catch that, and then I have a podcast tonight with Russell Allen on YouTube, with a ton of different creators at 9:00 tonight.
Nice.
And I try to squeeze in some work in there somewhere.
Right. Works.
And then tomorrow I have to do some house cleaning and watch more football.
Watching football is important. Just letting you know, you need to support the economy by watching football.
Yeah,
please watch the
stuff. Don't even worry about it. Just make sure you get to the football.
Yeah. So we might as well get the football stuff in. Maybe there'll be a replay of Russell's stuff, and I can just watch football today.
There you go. You don't need to watch Russell's stuff anyways.
Yeah, I know it all, right? We're blowing through this Kickstarter. A girl could dream. We hit 3 days of stall, and I was like in full panic mode.
It's like that though. It happens though.
I was like, we're not even like a whole week through, and we're stalled already. I can't do this. Why am I doing this to myself?
Even people like Russ kills it on Kickstarter religiously, and he even has days where it's really dry. So you just gotta keep pushing through it, and you'll get there to the end.
Well, we got all the Instagram. I don't know if you guys have caught my Instagram posts over the last week or so, but when I did the April's Army, it's a book all about cats. So I had like 31 cat photos. Like every day was a new cat photo with a little tidbit about them, and they were actually cats that were in the book. And I didn't know how to do that with toys. I was like, I don't have like 31 pictures of all the toys that are in there. So I've actually been doing pictures and tying them to 80s music.
Okay.
So yesterday we had Toby the gnome. He was a sharp dressed man ready to accept everybody's pledges for the weekend. We're just, I said, got to have a little bit of fun with it. There you go. There's Toby. There's Toby the gnome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Toby and Mr. Snow Owl here.
Yep. Yeah.
I like
There's
this one though.
Oh yeah, yes, this is the goat. He has a story about being the goat.
Yeah. So, and this is the book. If you are not watching live stream,
Yeah.
I'm showing the cover.
Yep. This is the cover done by Eric Cockrell, and these are all characters that are in the book.
Very nice.
So you have Jack the sock monkey, Blakey the bear, Horse is the tiger, Harley is the bunny down there on the left, and then you have 2 of the 3 cheetah triplets.
Nice.
Yep.
I think that monkey looks very familiar.
Oh, I'm probably I think he's a standard sock monkey.
Yeah.
Um.
I think I remember having one of those when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely had one of those before.
Yeah, you guys have seen them. They're around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the easiest way to get to your Kickstarter?
The easiest way to get to the Kickstarter is clicking one of the multitude of links on Facebook. Come on, guys! You know we all post I feel like I think I post 2 to 3 times a day, which is probably not enough, but feels like so much to me. Like it's just like I try to intermix it with the other things, but it's tough. Otherwise, if you go to lifewithkatie.com, I believe the top 2 posts are about the Kickstarter, and there's a link in both of those.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, and we've got a little promo running this weekend that if we hit $500 by the end of day Monday, I'm actually going to throw in a extra print for everybody.
Oh,
nice.
And even if you print it, even if you back at a digital level, I'll send you the digital image.
Okay.
That you can then use.
And looking at this, you are $120 away from hitting that.
Yeah, we're not. It's not impossible. I mean, I've seen campaigns do $120 in 5 minutes. You know, it's like we're a little slower, but I totally believe that we can do this.
I think Kyron was planning on topping that off today. I think.
I would say there is $100 tier.
I saw that for a custom story.
For custom
Choose
story,
your favorite toy and have a custom story written for you.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I did that with Apa's Army, and we did 3 or 4 of those, where people would send me a photo of their cat, and just kind of tell me about their personality, and then I would write a story, that then went in the book.
I have this story that I do want to write. It's about the superhero who lives in Las Vegas, and his name is Club. Let me see, Jack of Clubs, and he's all purple, and he goes around. He just fights crime. So I might do that. Just a custom story of that. Maybe. I gotta see if the wife will allow me to do it though.
I gotta go ahead and get my lawyers on retainer.
Just be prepared.
Find me some lawyers somewhere to.
Well, this has been fun, Kat.
Yeah.
Besides Life with Katie, where else can we find you on the interwebs, social media,
you
things
can
like
find
that?
me on Twitter at Katrina Roets. You can find me on Instagram at Life with Katie. The website is lifewithkatie.com, or I am on Facebook, Katrina Roets, or
Nice.
Katrina Roets -author for my fan page.
Cool. All right, Danny. We didn't get to introduce you properly this morning, so where can we find all your work, social media, all that good stuff?
If you're looking for me, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and on our website, fourthwallpros.com, or you can just search for Ace Blade and you'll find me.
Nice. And of course, you can find me at tauruscomics.com. I am on Instagram and Twitter at tauruscomics. You can find our podcast at fourtalespodcast.com. That's the number 4, TALES podcast.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Just if you can stream it, we will be there. We are trying to reach 100 subscribers on YouTube, and we're almost at 50. I think we're almost at 40 so far. So we're trying to get to that 100 subscriber mark. So please, if you can, search us out on YouTube. Again, it's the number 4, talespodcast.com. Help us to reach that goal. And Danny will send you a picture of himself dancing. I don't know. But in the meantime, please check us out. Like I said earlier, this episode will actually post in about an hour or two. along with a new feature if you're using Spotify, where you can answer our poll question for this episode. And since Kat is our first female creator, I figured I'm gonna do an all female poll. And this is gonna be, if you were fighting aliens,
Ooh.
who would you rather have? Metroid's Samus Aran or Aliens Ellen Ripley? And that's gonna be
Metroid.
up once. Okay, you can go on to Spotify and answer that when I post it, okay?
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah. But until then, we
Well.
hope you guys have a great day. Thank you again for joining us, and please come back next week when we will officially have Wally McNair. But until then, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.